The river was alive that morning, rushing steadily beneath the bright slant of the sun. It glimmered like liquid glass, cool and deceptively calm, but I knew the current well enough to respect its hidden power. I paddled along the edge, my kayak slicing through the gentle ripples, letting the peace of the wilderness settle into my bones. Then I heard it, faint but distinct, a sharp, desperate whimper. I froze, my paddle still in the water, ears straining. It came again, a little cry swallowed by the river's murmur, just enough to set my heart racing. Scanning the shoreline, I spotted the source. On the far side of the river, perched at the edge of a crumbling embankment, was a puppy, alone, terrified. I cursed under my breath. The bank was unstable, its dirt damp from the previous night's rain. The puppy, no more than a few months old, was trembling, its tiny paws dangerously close to the edge. Below it, the river churned, waiting like an unspoken threat. I had to move fast. Adjusting course, I paddled hard against the current, steering toward the shore. The closer I got, the clearer I could see the puppy's condition. Its fur was matted with mud, and its ribs pressed against its thin frame. A stray, lost and battered by nature. I reached the riverbank and stepped out, water soaking into my boots as I carefully climbed onto the unstable ground. Every movement sent dirt skidding down toward the water below. The puppy backed up, ears pinned, body stiff with fear. "Hey, buddy," I murmured, keeping my voice soft, steady. "It's okay. I'm here to help." The puppy whimpered again, eyes darting wildly, but it was clear. It couldn't run, not without risking a fall into the river. I knelt, reaching out my hand, waiting. Its tiny chest rose and fell in rapid breaths, but there was hesitation in its eyes, some desperate flicker of trust, or maybe just a final surrender. Either way, I knew I had only one chance. Slowly, carefully, I lunged forward. The moment my fingers touched fur, the bank gave way. The puppy yelped, scrabbling for grip as dirt crumbled beneath its paws. Without thinking, I tightened my grip and yanked backward. My feet slipped, but I didn't let go. My arms locked around the fragile, struggling body just as the edge collapsed entirely, chunks of earth tumbling into the current. My breathing was ragged, my heart hammering. But I had him. Pulling the puppy close, I cradled his shivering body against my chest, feeling his frantic heartbeat beneath his ribs. "You're okay," I whispered. "You're safe now." I climbed carefully back down toward the water, securing my grip on the frightened pup before stepping back into the kayak. He whimpered but didn't resist, pressing into my arms like I was the first warmth he had felt in days. As we pushed off from the shore, drifting back toward safety, I felt something shift in the small creature I had rescued, a quiet surrender, a fragile trust. He was no longer fighting or trembling in fear. Instead, he let out a soft sigh, pressing his tiny head against my chest. The river carried us home, the morning light settling over us like a quiet promise. But as I paddled toward the shore, cradling the trembling puppy against my chest, I knew this was just the beginning of his journey. When I reached dry land, I wasted no time. Setting the kayak aside, I gently wrapped the pup in my jacket, shielding him from the crisp morning air. His fur was matted with dirt, damp from the river's mist, and his tiny body shivered uncontrollably. Though exhausted and fragile, he no longer flinched from my touch. He had surrendered to safety, to warmth, to the quiet assurance that he was no longer alone. I made my way up the riverbank toward my truck, my mind racing with possibilities. Was he lost? Abandoned? Had someone been searching for him? My fingers brushed over his thin ribs, feeling the absence of proper nutrition, and my heart clenched at the thought that he may have been alone for far longer than just a few stormy nights. As soon as I reached my truck, I turned on the heat, letting it fill the small space with warmth. I laid the puppy on the passenger seat, folding the jacket around him like a makeshift nest. He let out a small sigh, a sound so faint yet somehow deeply moving. "You're safe now," I whispered, watching his tiny chest rise and fall. He blinked up at me, his deep brown eyes reflecting something between exhaustion and trust. I knew the nearest animal clinic was just a short drive away, and I wasted no time getting there. The moment I walked through the door, the receptionist's eyes widened. "Where did you find him?" she asked. "Stranded on a collapsing riverbank," I said, voice still tight from the adrenaline coursing through me. "I don't know if he has an owner, but he needs help." Without hesitation, the veterinary team sprang into action. They took the puppy into their care, running their fingers gently over his thin body, checking for injuries. He allowed them to work, too exhausted to resist. An hour passed, then two. As I sat in the waiting room, tapping my fingers against my knee, I thought about how small the puppy had felt in my arms, how fragile yet strong he had been in the face of something so dangerous. When the vet finally returned, she gave me a soft, tired smile. "He's going to be okay," she said. "Malnourished, dehydrated, but no serious injuries. He's a fighter." Relief crashed over me. "That's good," I murmured. "Really good." "We'll keep him here for observation," she continued, "but there's no sign of an owner. No tags, no microchip." My heart clenched at the thought of him having nowhere to go, but then something settled inside me, a quiet, undeniable decision forming. If no one comes forward, I'd like to take him home. The vet's smile widened. "I had a feeling you might say that." And just like that, the puppy's journey didn't end. It simply turned toward a new beginning. A safe home, a warm bed, a future filled with care and companionship. He would never have to face the rising tides alone again.